Alright, let's talk about the Twitch streamer that got outed for being gay and for having an OnlyFans that supposedly part of the internet is upset about. One of the most beloved streamers out there, known as Sketch, or The Real Sketch. A lot of you are probably wondering, who the hell's Sketch? So for those of you who don't know who Sketch is, he is probably one of the most famous Twitch streamers out there currently. He's relatively popular within the sports scene, mainly streams Madden. He's done stuff for like full-on news sports broadcasts. I think he ended up being an announcer for like the NFL draft at some point. Like that's up there. He is very, very popular. He's friends and streams with other creators like FaZe Banks, Jinxie, Queso, Kai Cenat. You've probably seen posts about it on Twitter. And probably have seen many other content creators cover this exact subject, the news and controversy surrounding it from many different creators like Ludwig, Pyro, Turkey Tom, which isn't even drama. It's just the internet having a brain rot moment as usual. He's got a couple of little sayings that he does that have been around on TikTok, like, "What's up, brother?"
All right, this motherfucker's smart. Yo, I can't.
What's up, brother?
No.
Look, I know nothing about sports, but the only thing I know about him is he's relatively popular and overall seems like a really cool guy. He's one of those streamers where he'll swear and then apologize for it immediately. Really, really sweet. So what is the issue surrounding him recently? Why is he the talk of the week? Why are some folks on the internet upset with him? And why are some people showering him with love and support? Well, he was outed recently because before Twitch streaming, he did OnlyFans and specifically posted gay content to it, in which he posted femboy pics and content there. We're not obviously going to show that here. Yeah, that's it. There was nothing else. Nothing illegal, nothing bad, just an adult doing consensual adult things as an adult. We are still at that point where supposedly having any sort of adult presence when you are a content creator, no matter how much you separate it, is seen as a bad thing. We are still at that point, and I don't understand it. So pretty much what happened was this YouTuber did some journalism and put together a video pretty much outing Sketch for being, one, gay, which he wasn't out of the closet or announced at all that he was gay, and two, for having a past history with making adult content. He did not announce at all that he was gay or that he was out of the closet. I think the tweet that actually made me aware of this whole thing happening was from FaZe Banks, where he was trying to get a hold of Sketch because he just up and like disappeared. He was leaving, like going to the airport, left a lot of his like personal belongings behind, which I feel like is similar to suicidal tendencies. He even announced it on a stream where he was feeling that way from not only what had happened, but even before when he was doing that content. Which, let me just say, seeing friends support each other very, very closely and be there for them in their darkest times, that always warms my heart. I just wish it wasn't under this circumstance because holy fuck. But he ended up being outed a few days ago. I think the video ended up dropping on July 8th, and then a day or two later, his friends managed to get a hold of him and tried to talk to him, be there for him, support him, his friends and family. And since then, there have been a plethora of different reactions to it. A few days after the outing, Sketch ended up doing a live stream, pretty much talking about all the allegations and owning up to it. Like, you could tell in the video, he was very, very uncomfortable with it. He was, the whole adult side of things and even his sexuality was something that he was not clearly ready to talk about and did not want to have out there. And there it was for him to basically break down and talk about. He was forced into pretty much apologizing. Well, you can see in his demeanor how uncomfortable he is, which, you know, props to him for being able to crack jokes the whole time.
I did not have sexual relations with that man. I'm just kidding. I did. Possibly. Cat's out of the bag. It's okay. What else do I have to say?
That's some good shit while you're under fire like that. And while you're worried that the entirety of this world that you built up, this entire community is going to come crumbling down. It's just the feeling of helplessness and feeling like your entire world is falling apart after being canceled, after your skeletons in the closet or something that you might be very, very embarrassed about that you did a while back, ending up being thrown back in your face. Especially in the wake of the whole Dr. Disrespect thing. The whole thing with Sketch is nowhere close and morally awful as that.
For those that are looking for me to expand on this weekend, not gonna. I already said what I needed to say.
which is sort of the part that I want to talk about mainly about this subject. Just the mindset behind it, how it feels to pretty much be in this. I cannot fathom how much it probably felt like Sketch's world was falling apart as soon as that came out. Because one, he didn't get to come out as gay. In fact, it seemed like he just didn't want to out of fear, which is exactly the reason why people don't come out as gay, because of the reaction that people are going to have about it, the negativity of not being accepted or loved as the same person. I get that. But not only that, but to have an entire past part of yourself that you thought you wanted to put behind you, that you don't want any part of, to do what you're doing now, to have that all thrown in your face. I can only imagine it felt like everything that he worked for was going to come crumbling down. Everything that he built up as a streamer. I'm sure he was worried it was all going to go away and that he'd have to leave it, which I think he even said on stream his plan B for if that ended up coming out was just him leave as a streamer.
Plan A was, and I will say candidly, was to probably probably to call it quits if this ever came out.
I think he even admitted to it on stream that he's changed since then. A lot of people interpret it as like, oh, he's not gay anymore, which I'd argue no. I feel like it's more of the matter that he's not in his dark times as much anymore. He's not feeling sad or depressed or even suicidal. I know it's all supposed this is how he's feeling, but this is how you interpret it. And I'd like to argue that that might be the case as someone who has been through that.
Shout out y'all, like, I fucked up, but I'm changed.
But I've been through something similar, and I've had many different feelings about that in the past. I've seen negative responses from kick streamers and, well, Sneeko, which I'm just gonna say it, if Sneeko is arguing against you, then you're probably doing something good. But on the other end of it, which is actually how I ended up seeing this news unfold, and actually ended up giving me a little bit of hope in humanity. There has been a flood of support thrown towards Sketch's way, mainly from other content creators and streamer friends of his, showing their unanimous support for him, with responses ranging from who cares to other responses where Jinxie and other streamers have broken down crying, just being glad that he's safe and okay. And I'd like to think a majority of people within the case of Sketch feel the same way as well. If anything, they have nothing but love and support to show him because, you couldn't imagine possibly what it feels like to have a whole part of your past thrown in your face and blasted out there on the internet for the sake of, hey, look at this. Unreasonable people are in fact unreasonable. But I can only imagine for Sketch's case here, how awful that must feel. For Sketch, it's like he's known, not just within the streamer sphere, but within mainstream actual media, within sports. I don't follow sports at all, and quite honestly, I don't really see the sports community as a whole being very welcoming with open arms to anything LGBT, but that's just my observation. But I can only imagine the stress that came from it, the worry beforehand, and then it actually happening. It must feel like the world is ending. Because for me, it felt like my world was ending. I thought I'd wake up the next day and I'd lose like everything. I'd lose any credibility. I wouldn't be able to return to the internet again. I'd have to quit pretty much my passion for a living. I love making YouTube videos and being a content creator. I'd have to give all of that up and pretty much start over. I was worried that that would happen. And I'm pretty sure the same thing is what was going through Sketch's head with a lot of this. That's why I empathize a lot and feel really, really bad that any of that happened, because no one deserves to be put under that, especially someone who's not doing anything wrong to begin with. Because that's the thing too, the internet makes it seem like when you are doing realistically nothing wrong and there's no issue with it, you're not hurting anyone and you're not hurting yourself, there will still be people that will make it a point to try and make it seem like or gaslight you to feel like you did something wrong because you see other people get canceled or you're worried it's going to happen to yourself regardless of it being good or bad. That's why I don't want to downplay what happened to Sketch in this case. That's why I say, even though I relate to some of the feelings that Sketch has, I couldn't nearly imagine how it must feel to be in that position. Not only to have like your adult side, the things that you enjoy as an adult, completely outed and put out there and associated with what you do now, separate from it. Like if you saw this news unfold and had the two reactions of either who cares, whatever, cool, or like, oh hey, he's doing something that makes him happy, good for him, congratulations, you're a rational functioning member of society. society. I'm sorry, but if you have an issue with someone having, one, an adult side, and two, expressing it in a manner and on a platform for adult audiences, what is wrong with you? So this is kind of the part of the video that I wanted to talk about. My personal relation to a situation like this, not just being outed for some side of yourself, some adult side that you participate in currently, that you enjoy, that is separate from what you do that everyone else knows you for. Adults doing adult things. Literally, the last bit that I have here is let the man be. So the reason why I wanted to do this video isn't to cover the whole news section of it. I'm sure plenty of you have already seen many different videos and posts detailing everything about it, seeing the reactions, seeing your favorite content creators talk about it. I'll even link a couple of them down below if you haven't already, because I don't want to be a channel that just discusses the drama or news. I want to talk about it in relation to stuff that I've experienced very similarly and how it really can, like, haunt you forever. Even in situations like this where there's nothing wrong and you end up being canceled regardless, like canceled quote unquote. I know the whole idea of getting canceled is thrown around a lot and it has different meanings, but it usually entails a huge group of people having a negative reaction to something that you did, whether it be a valid thing to get angry about or a stupid thing to get angry about, which in the case of Sketch, it is the latter. Not the fact that him doing OnlyFans is stupid. If anything, good on him. That's one of the main arguments. Even if he did it to this day, it still wouldn't be a problem. Because my argument, and at least this is how I've lived off of it as someone who does also enjoy NSFW adult 18+ things. Oh no! Your favorite content creator or streamer has an adult life separate from this and doesn't broadcast every single goddamn thing to the internet? Wow, that's crazy. I know, a shocker. He did OnlyFans under a completely different alias and a completely different name. I think the name was Jamie Marr. And the only way people were able to figure out that it was him was based on birthmarks between the two that looked very similar. Even if he was doing OnlyFans adult content to this day and had it on that platform, under that alias, there would be absolutely no problem with that. I see absolutely no problem with that, and I think most people would agree. If anything, I think a lot of people would argue, nah, get that bag. I mean, to be fair, have you seen some of the paychecks that come out of OnlyFans? Some creators can just show their ass for like once every few months and just make bank. It is, goddamn, get that bread. Literally, get that bread. My rule of thumb is usually this, and this is something a friend has told me years and years ago. Anime in the streets, hentai in the sheets. The way I've interpreted it is that you don't mesh the two and you keep it sort of separate in the manner of the appropriate filters, appropriate platforms, and under the respective audiences. If you have an adult side or an NSFW account, you do OnlyFans, you do adult content, and you keep it separate from what you do online, whether it's content creator stuff or you're known for something else, that is completely fine. That is the responsible thing to do as an adult. I saw some of the arguments being like, oh, what about the kids? They're gonna see this. What do you mean the kids are gonna see this? You're letting kids on OnlyFans? Is that what's happening? I am not your children's online daycare, but I do very much feel for Sketch in this case as someone who has been quote unquote canceled for being into adult stuff. The fear of being outed or shamed because you have an adult side, or because you're an adult, you're a content creator, and you have an 18+ not safe for work secret side that you would express appropriately, you are worried that it is going to get out there and it's going to bite you in the butt and people are going to be upset with you for it. That is a really deep fear that I myself have had for years. I used to have it a lot. I used to be worried, oh, I can't enjoy sex or anything at all. I'm just not allowed to do that. I'm a YouTuber. I can't possibly ever do that. And you know, I won't lie. I have adult accounts. I have adult NSFW 18+ furry accounts that I enjoy the adult side of the furry fandom with. And at one point a few years ago, I was canceled for having one. Someone ended up posting and leaking an entirely private account that I had where I enjoyed a specific subcategory within furry and made it as I guess a call out post against me. And you know what ended up happening? Nothing. There were 3 different groups of people that saw this. The first ended up reacting with, who cares? Whatever. He's an adult. He can do adult things. The second group of people were supportive for me for what I did. They showed nothing but support and love. Like, people were sending me DMs of like, hey, just so you know, really enjoy what you do. Really happy you get to express yourself in this manner, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wait, what happened? And then I actually looked into it. I'm like, oh, hey, I was canceled. Huh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And then the third group actually ended up being like, dude, what the fuck? Why would you out someone's private locked account when there's nothing wrong with it? And that's what ended up happening. It was a real fear of mine that the worst case scenario would happen from it. Like all sorts of videos were going to be made. I was going to show up on like Turkey Tom's YouTube channel as like the next degenerate loser. But one thing that I hope that Sketch ends up taking from this is how liberating it feels. Because once, you know, the skeletons are out of the closet, even if it might not be a skeletons in the closet moment, it's all out there. There's nothing else to hide. For me, people knew I had an adult side, and maybe some people figured out what my adult account was, that I enjoy adult stuff. Wow, big whoop, real neat. And that was it. But what I will say, the one thing that I absolutely adored seeing, and still do every single day, like I hop on Twitter, is just seeing the unending love and support from like other fellow streamers or other friends. Like it was such a wonderful thing to have friends like reach out and talk to you, check in on you, asking, hey, are you okay? How are things going? Let's like talk, let's hang out, let's go and get a drink or something. Let me just say, friends and family being there for one another, absolutely everything. It helps, especially in trying times of this, where you can kind of separate from the internet a little bit, and you know you still have people there that care about you, which is like what I saw happening immensely within like the whole adult side. Like I had a whole slew of people like following me on my like separate account, and then a bunch of people reaching out and DMing me. Some of them sending me like fan art too, of like, hey Beta, I know you like this, just wanted you to know we love and support you, you're really cool, fuck the negative noise, you're awesome. And it's just like moments like that really do give you some hope in humanity, that people really do care about one another. And you know what, I'll just say it as well to get the other skeleton out of the closet that I know eventually I'm probably gonna get canceled for, quote unquote. I do adult content. I have an OnlyFans. I participate in the adult NSFW 18 plus side of the furry community. In fact, so much so that I have an OnlyFans. Am I gonna share what it is with you? Absolutely not. That wouldn't be appropriate to do so, but hey, you know, I called myself out before any of you could, so get gone. That's it. That's really it. I use the income to help pay for my health insurance, which is really ironic and funny now that I think about it. But yeah, it has given me so much more confidence in my body and in myself than you could possibly realize. I hope he's doing well. I could only wish the best for him. Honestly, even though I'm not even a fan of Madden or football or nothing about sports, I kind of want to go and support the guy now because he seems just so chill and so cool. So I know he doesn't really need the shout out, but go and support him. I'm sure he would absolutely appreciate the loving words. But either way, that's about going to do it for me. I just wanted to share my similar feelings on this situation and talk about how dumb it was as a whole that people would at all get upset about it. But, you know, what do you expect? It's the internet.